Hello everyone, and welcome to Lesson 110 on U.S. customary units of length. So if you remember, there are two measurement scales that we typically use, right? If you know centimeters and millimeters, meters, decimeters, all those, right? That's the metric system, okay? Usually on one side of your ruler or your yardstick, and on the other side, right, are your inches, yards, feet, okay, all of that, and those are our customary units of length, U.S. customary. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking today. We'll not be focusing on the metrics, but rather the customary. Okay, so if we look at journal page 24 here, okay, it gives us some measurement scales. So you can start to think in your head, okay, think about how long a foot is, how many inches there are in that 1 foot, and then imagine that yardstick, how many feet are in a yardstick. Okay, and what these scales do is show us, they kind of compare two different units of measure side by side, okay, hence the scale. How many of one would make up another? We're going to use those to help us convert, okay, units of length in the U.S. customary system. So if you look here, we've got yards on this side, right, 3 feet up here, or I'm sorry, 3 yards up here, 1, 2, 3. And then below we have feet. So there are 3 feet in each yard. 1, 2, 3. There's 1 yard, right? 3 more, 2 yards, 3 more. So 9 feet would make up 3 yards. Okay. Same thing down here. We have our feet on this side though, right? We have up to 9 feet on the top. And then on the bottom it compares it with inches. So you'll see 1 foot, 12 inches, 2 feet, 24 inches, etc. Okay, so if I were to say the length of a hippo is 3 yards, okay, how could we determine, using this measurement scale, how long the hippo is in feet? Okay, so again, if it's 3 yards, imagine how long would it be in feet? Pause and think about that for a second. Well, hopefully you determined that it would be 9 feet in 3 yards. And how could you figure that out? Well, hopefully you could find 3 on the yard side here, and then just slide on over to the feet side and see its equivalent measure in 9 feet, right? Just like if it was 2 feet or 2 yards long, you could find 2 yards, slide it down, and read the number of feet that it would be equivalent to, or 6 feet. Okay. How about if a coyote is 3 feet long? Coyote is 3 feet long. How can we use the scale to determine the length in inches? Okay, length in inches. Take a pause and figure that out. Okay, hopefully you determined, well, 3 feet, if we slide it down, here's 36 inches, right, that it would be equivalent to. Okay, now we're going to see if we can use these scales to help us convert for numbers 1 through 4 here in the journal. Right, so for instance, number 1 says 1 foot, on the feet column, right, equals how many inches? Well, 1 foot would be equivalent to 12 inches. Okay, so there's the 12. You could also say 2 feet, okay, well that's 2 12s, 12 inches plus 12 inches would be 24 inches, okay, and kind of keep going from there. So go ahead and try numbers 1 through 4, try your conversion, see how it goes. And we'll pause and check our work together. Okay, let's go ahead and check our work here. Here are your answers to 1 through 4. Now something to think about is how could you use your answer to the number of feet in 120 inches, right? How could you use this number to help you find the number of inches in 20 feet, right? This next question. So for instance, if you had 120 inches, right, you're wondering how many feet is that? Well, you'd have to figure out how many 12s are 120 inches, right, which would be 10. And since 10 times 2 is 20, right, 10, to get to 20, you have to times 2, right? 120 times 2 would give you 240, right? So same thing could go for the number of feet in 10 yards, right, which is 30 feet. How could you use that to find the number of feet in 20 yards? Well, 10 to 20, right, would be times 2 again. and you've got 30 feet in 10 yards, right? Or 10 times 3 would be 30. And then if you multiply that by 2, you get your 60. So you see how those ratios kind of help you there, right? So how do you convert from yards to feet? Well, hopefully determine you multiply the number of yards times 3, because there are 3 feet in every yard. So 7 over here times 3 would be 21. 9 times 3 would be 27. 10 times 3 would be 30. 20 times 3 would be 60, right? So there's a little bit of a rule table for you, a rule chart. Okay, how about from feet to inches? Well, multiply times 12. There are 12 inches in every foot, right? 7 times 12 would be 84. 9 times 12, okay, etc., etc. So what happens when we convert a larger unit of measure of length here, such as feet, into a smaller unit such as inches? Well, the number's got to get bigger, right? Because it takes a larger number, greater number of smaller units to represent the same amount of length, right? It's going to take a lot more inches to make a foot than it will be if you're just talking feet, right? They're definitely going to be more inches. Likewise, if we converted from a smaller unit of length, right, such as feet, into a larger unit, such as yards, right, the number's got to get smaller. Why? Because it takes a smaller number of those larger units to represent the same length, right? Just like there were fewer yards in a hippo, only 3, right, as opposed to take 9 feet, right? So more of the smaller units. Makes sense, right? Okay. So let's go back here and actually move along to problem 5, and then continuing on to page 25, you'll see numbers 6 through 9 there, and these are story problems using U.S. customary length measures. So remember your guide to solving number stories, that you want to read the problem, make sense of it, make a plan, solve it, make sure your answer makes sense, okay? Use those scales to help you. For example, number 5, we have an Andean condor is about 4 feet tall, okay, and a raven is 2 feet tall. What is the combined height of the two birds in inches? Okay, so you're going to have to figure out 4 feet plus 2 feet, okay, how many feet is that? And you're going to have to convert that total to inches, so it's going to be a couple of steps, okay? So go ahead and try out number 5 on your own. And then go ahead and complete the rest of journal page 25 with 6 through 9. Go ahead and pause and we'll check our work together. Okay, hopefully you got 72 inches as your answer for number 5 there, right? Because 4 feet is equivalent to 48 inches. That's 4 sets of 12. 4 times 12 would be 48, plus 2 more 12s, right? 12 plus 12, or 12 times 2 here would be 24. If you combine 24 plus 48, 48, right? You're going to get 72 total inches. Total inches. You get the idea. Okay, so that is number 5 for you, and we'll check the rest of the story problems in groups. So if you've completed that, you are done with your work today on the Lesson 110 video. Thanks for listening.